What's up, guys? It's Crash, and I want to talk to you guys about Tarkov Arena. There were a lot of gameplay details revealed today on a live stream from Nikita, and then the Escape From Tarkov Arena account on Twitter posted all these screenshots, so I thought it'd be really fun to look at them. It gives us a lot of information as to what's going on. As we look through them, I'll kind of pull from my brain some of the things Nikita said during the live stream, and I'll add a little bit of context to these images for you guys. So we're going to hit you with the information at the beginning of the video, and then in the later half of the video, I'll time tag it down below. I'd like to get into a little bit of opinions, discuss with you guys what you think of this mode, how it's going to fit into the whole Battle State Games and Tarkov kind of ecosystem and where it fits into all that. And I would love to hear from you guys, your thoughts down in the comments below. I really enjoy reading the comments. So yeah, let's just go ahead and look through some of these screenshots and I'll try to talk to you about what we see. Of course, everyone's favorite emote. When Nikita showed this on stream, he was like, of course, and then he kind of moved on. I'm going to do the same thing. Everyone's favorite emote in Tarkov. The next thing is a screenshot of the Equator map. So far there's 3 maps in there. We'll talk about them in a little bit. This is just a screenshot from as a player on that map. All these screenshots and everything are from the alpha build. Nikita said that he did want to show gameplay originally, but kind of pulled the plug last minute on doing that. Some of the things weren't ready. Some of the concepts weren't fleshed out enough to where he was ready to show gameplay, but all of these are alpha. When they first announced the teaser for Arena, they did say that alpha gameplay was going to be going on, or testing was going to be going on closed alpha testing later in the fall. We're past that, so we're pretty much into the middle of alpha testing, it sounds like. This is an image from after you win a match. Not a whole lot here. Again, at the bottom, it shows the alpha build. Then he goes on to show another screenshot of gameplay on the Equator map. However, this one was showcasing the identification of the teams. He said there's a couple different ideas for identification with the armbands, maybe even double armbands. He talked about chemical lights, so I'm assuming that's like glow sticks and stuff. I don't know if they'll be kind of infrared lights, but he said he wanted to do some realistic ways to identify teammates, which is good because it's Escape From Tarkov. You can kill your teammates. So any of that's going to help. He showed this, another overhead shot of the Equator map. And this is what it's like when you're a spectator. This is from the spectating aspect where you can watch the game going on down below, scoreboard, timer, everything up here. We'll get into spectating a little bit more, in this image. So this is kind of a pulled back image of that spectating view. You can see a scoreboard on a TV, which is kind of cool. You can watch it, but he said there's going to be other things they're going to add that you can do while you're spectating. Some of these modes, like the tournament mode, 4 teams of 3 kind of fight in a bracket system to get to the top and become the champion of the arena. We'll talk about game modes in a little bit. But this image, he talked about there'll be other things you can do. You can watch, you can cheer them on. He said you can have a beer with your friends and other things. So they could potentially be adding mini games and stuff that you can do kind of while you're waiting to get in, which is a little weird. We'll talk about that at the end too. This is really cool, and I kind of hope they add a kill cam. This will help with a lot of stuff, cheaters and learning. And I feel like this is a really good place, the arena mode, I'm saying, not necessarily Tarkov, to add instant kill cam reviews would be pretty cool. But this information is neat. So this is going to show you where you got hit, how much damage that was dealt to you, how many hits, and how many you dealt to the enemy. So it's going to be like a super quick graphical breakdown of the gunfight. So I think that's really cool to see what happened. Kind of World War III has something similar like that in their kill cams. And this is another image of the spectating mode. So you'll be able to spectate potentially your teammates. Now this is an over the shoulder cam. You kind of see the camera overlay with the record in the low right. And then it looks like with T and M maybe down at the bottom, maybe you can cycle to your other teammates. But he talked about trying to make these realistic as well, potentially adding helmet cams like we see in the spectating mode of Modern Warfare 2 that you can switch to. He also talked about adding thermal and infrared options to the spectating camera. Not sure what that would add other than some kind of neat immersion, I guess. This is an end of round scoreboard he's talking about. You can see ranked. We'll talk about ranked and unranked in a minute. Just showing stats, pretty standard, which rounds were won by who and how. So I think that's pretty cool. And overall, the graphics look really clean. And then this image is kind of showcasing more gameplay from Equator with the MP5 SD. And you can see it's going to have the same mechanics as Tarkov: heavy bleed, fracture, and like pain. So you can, all that's going to be in there, and we're going to talk about that in the opinion section, how that's going to work in an arena setting. Then we move down. Some of these images here, this is kind of the overall main menu. You can see at the bottom, GLP are points that you get from, he said, from playing ranked. Not sure what those will be spent on 100%. Shows you kind of your stats at the bottom, but yeah, this is from the alpha build and this is the main screen. So you can see your ratings, settings, presets we'll talk about, and modes and things will come from here. Again, select your game type. So here we have unranked and ranked right off the bat. It's not coming later. There's going to be a ranked system, which I think is really good. That could get sweaty and be pretty fun, so we'll keep an eye on that. I think that's really awesome to be able to separate like sweaty super tryhards to kind of a casual chill game mode. Hopefully skill-based matchmaking, who knows how that's going to go. The next thing is that you're showing some modes here. So far there's 3 modes. He said team deathmatch, you're on your own, last hero, strongest survives. This looks like kind of like a free-for-all, and then shootout tournament is looks like you can do interesting. You can do 1v1s, 2v2s, and 3v3s. Everything we've shown is 3v3s. He talked about 3 maps, and we'll see those on the maps, but there's 4 listed here, and they did say more maps to come, so this is interesting to see. There's an extra map located right here in available locations. So these are the modes. He definitely said more modes to come and things like that. And then here we see, yeah, so we have Equator, Air Pit, and Bay 5. And then over here we have Equator, Air Pit, Bay 5, but Bowl is a one that's not on the map yet. But these are supposed to be the 3 maps that are available right now, he said. So going on right now, I'm not sure what they'll be whenever it's available for everyone to test out, but Equator is kind of the one they've been showing off. But yeah, there's supposed to be more maps added over time. Bay 5 is actually a map he talked about from Contract Wars, so I thought that was pretty interesting. I need to find the preset image. This is a really important image. So this is one of the biggest questions I've had. It's like, how are you going to get your stuff? Like, how are you going to pick weapons and things like that? Because you're not going to want to loot in the beginning of an arena mode. So they have what are called presets, and a lot of these are going to cost rubles. Now this is kind of where the game becomes interconnected with the main game if you do own that. So these are showing the different ones. You can see his cursor right there. He's hovering over the Crusader, so you can see what comes along with that gun, or excuse me, with that loadout as far as guns and ammo are concerned, and the amount of ammo. And there's all these different ones at different price points, and some of them are eventually going to have different perks, he said. But these rubles and how it's interconnected is these rubles can come from the main game, so they can transfer over. So if you own EFT, which you don't have to, this is a standalone game, but you can use your rubles that you earned in Escape from Tarkov to purchase presets in Arena. So that's kind of where the interconnectedness comes from, as well as, I'm pretty sure he said custom presets. So you can take weapons that you have in Escape from Tarkov, build custom presets that will transfer over to Arena. If you just own Arena standalone, you can choose from the presets. Okay, presets. It's a new thing I just came up with. It's great. So that's how that's going to work. This was a big question for me. He said your assault, CQB, scout, marksman, favorites, self-explanatory. You can kind of mark favorites. Collection was a really interesting one. He said these are going to be very special presets, he said, that you can collect and use, but they are one-time use, and they're going to have like really big perks available to you. So this is going to be interesting to see how these game modes are, and this is going to be a massive layer in the strategy of how you're going to play Tarkov Arena. So I think I really covered everything. I'm pretty sure, yeah, these are the images we already saw. This is the start of a match, he said, getting ready to go into a 3v3 at the Equator map. So yeah, I think we took a look at everything, but this was kind of the money shot for me. This was like the most information right here of how things are going to work out, how the rubles are going to work out. And I was really curious how the interconnectedness was going to work with the main game. So let's go ahead and talk about how I think this is going to fit in just a little bit. So overall, I think this is a really good thing to have come to Escape from Tarkov. I'm not sure how people feel who are main fans of the extraction mode, the survival game, how they feel about resource development going into this. I haven't heard anybody really complain about it, but it's an interesting dynamic. I feel like the main concern I have for this, other than how long it's going to take to get here, given how long Streets took to get here. Not saying it's not complicated and they're not working hard, but it takes a long time to get content out of Escape from Tarkov, because I'm guessing it's an incredibly complicated game with a ton of nuances to it and details. But what I'm really concerned about, and I want to hear from you guys, how are those slower tactical mechanics going to fit on a small, tiny arena map? And what I mean by that is like, the gunplay is kind of slow, the reloads are slow, but honestly, like The healing, I don't know how that's going to work. You're going to be injured more than likely after your first gunfight. There could potentially be 2 other enemies. Are you going to have time to heal? You got to put a tourniquet on to stop a bleed. You have to put a splint on to stop the pain and the shaking from a bone break. Maybe you have to do a CMS kit to do field surgery to get your blacked out arm to work again. You know, if you get shot in the leg and you have to splint that up so you can move, or people going to be like popping painkillers and stuff like that. Like, the healing is slow, and some of the best gunfights I've had in Escape from Tarkov with these mechanics have been kind of long drawn out ones, with maybe me and my friend Hydro and Ham and the 3 of us fighting another 3-piece or 2-piece, and everyone's flanking and communicating, and those kind of long drawn out fights rather than getting head eyes out of nowhere. Those long drawn out fights are what I really enjoy in Escape from Tarkov. So I'm hoping this mode can capture that a little bit, but I wonder if the maps are the equator map, at least what we've seen, looks pretty small for that to be happening. So I could see it being incredibly frustrating after one gunfight to have to spend a long time healing, and there's probably a pretty good chance the other folks are going to push you. So third partying in this is going to be incredibly strong. That's not going to be as big an issue in the 1v1 and even potentially the 2v2 modes. But yeah, it's going to be really weird to see how this plays out. I can't think of another game with these hardcore, slow, realistic mechanics in an arena setting. So that's what I'm watching the most, like how that's gonna feel, because I don't really know. The other thing is that I think could be good for the game is maybe the PvP sweats, as people call them, or Chads in Tarkov, are gonna want to play this more, and maybe it'll make for a little bit more casual experience potentially in EFT. I feel like the people that play the game every single day for hours and hours have a pretty distinct advantage over somebody who's just able to play for a couple hours a night or 2 a week, and maybe this will help even that out. I think having a ranked mode is really cool because it just works better for everybody. X Defiant might be doing the same thing. If you want to sweat it out, go ahead and play ranked. If you don't, unranked, no pressure, just have fun. I love that. I love having that choice. Anyway, guys, what are you thinking about Arena so far? Is this something that you're into? Are you concerned about how it's going to work out? I would love to hear from you. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you later.